This is Tim Storm, former NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. You're listening to Whaddya Say with DDJ. If you love professional wrestling, this is where you need to get your information. Don't miss this.
Welcome to episode 8 of Whaddya Say with DDJ. As always, I'm your host, DDJ. And on this episode, my very special guest is the Mercenary Garrisaon Creed of CCW. He will actually be one of 3 men vying to become the first Chicagoland Championship Wrestling Champion at the October 3rd tapings. I will provide the ticket information after the interview. Tickets are still available, though. So kick back, relax, and enjoy episode 8 of Whaddya Say with DDJ and my very special guest, the Mercenary Garrisaon Creed. Welcome to episode 8 of Whaddya Say with DDJ. As always, I'm your host, DDJ. And with me this evening, I have my very special guest is the Mercenary Garrisaon Creed. Garrisaon, thanks for taking the time to chat with me this evening. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm getting all pumped up for this the future show, the debut episode of Chicagoland Championship Wrestling coming up October 3rd.
Beautiful. We'll definitely be talking about that a little bit later in the show. Tell me a little bit about who Garrisaon Creed is.
Garrisaon Creed is legitimately me, a soldier, a tried and true combat veteran with multiple tours overseas, mainly in Iraq. A couple of stuff that I'm not supposed to say at all, so we'll just stick with Iraq.
All right.
So I've done plenty of time with that. I was Army infantry, kicked in a lot of doors, went plenty of months with actually seeing daylight, did a lot of that stuff. And then came on out, got some education, discovered professional wrestling, how to get into it. And I've been doing that and loving that ever since.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about how you discovered pro wrestling.
Like most people, it's always been there. I've always been a fan. From early memories of watching Hulk Hogan body slam Andre the Giant, seeing the rise of HBK, Triple H, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I was a big fan of Bret Hart. We had the introduction of the Monday Night Wars. I think was probably what really lit a fire under my ass when I got to see WCW, and not the Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man Randy Savage and Ric Flair over there. It was their mid-card guys. It was these very colorful luchadors they're bringing in from Mexico, Psychosis, Rey Mysterio, Juventud Guerrera, along with other guys. We had like Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, Dean Malenko. Those are kind of the guys. That high-flying, flashy style combined with this ground technical mat wrestling style. Those are the ones that really lynched me in, and that's what hooked me. But sadly, kind of like most kids who want to be, grow up and be the star football or the star quarterback to their favorite football team, eventually they realize it's not going to happen. And that's what happened to me. Is I had no way didn't know anybody in the wrestling business. I had no idea where to go for schooling. I was, no direction. So I graduated high school. Really didn't have any direction in life other than I wanted to do stuff. I wanted to learn more. I wanted to gain experiences. So I took that opportunity with the U.S. Army, being in the infantry, going overseas, training overseas, doing combat operations in Iraq, and seeing a lot of the stuff that way. When I came out, that's much time later. I got out. I went and got a college degree. I was doing the job force thing, and then I, kind of discovered just by accident that in the town that I live in, that there's a guy 8 miles down the road from where I lived that had a ring in his barn and trained professional wrestlers. Why the hell am I not there? I got a hold of his phone number, gave him a call. That Sunday, I started training at the tender age of 32.
Wow. So what did that first bump you took feel like?
Like I just got dropped in my ass. It wasn't. I've had quite a lot of physical experiences in the military. Also trained quite a bit in various different forms of martial arts. So, I mean, the biggest thing was just learning not to throw my arms behind myself and block the bump. So, I mean, just take it like a man, pretty much. And after that, I mean, it's like second nature now. Initially, it was like, okay, this sucks, but so did a lot of stuff in the military. Just embrace the suck, go with it, and I did that.
That's awesome. So you mentioned guys like Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Triple H, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Were those like your favorites when you first started watching wrestling, or did you have anybody else that you really liked when you first started?
I mean, Bret Hart's definitely on that list. I mean, I never really was too much of the mainstream guys. I mean, the top of the totem pole. I was mid card guy status. So I mean, guys like Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko, definitely Rey Mysterio. Seeing him coming up, Eddie Guerrero, Juventud Guerrero was definitely up at the top of that list. So I mean, I wasn't sticking around for the main events. I was sticking around for the mid card. Hey, who's got the cruiserweight title? Who's got the TV title? For the WWE side of it, who's got the Intercontinental title? Those were the areas. Those were the matches I was watching.
And what about the mid card guys made them so appealing to you?
Those in the back of my head were the guys who didn't have that name yet. I mean, if you can go to any household in America, especially the ones that don't watch wrestling on a normal basis, and say Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, they know who you're talking about. But you know, growing up, and if you said, you know, in 1997, if you said Chris Jericho to somebody, they'd be like, who? I mean, nowadays, yeah, you say Chris Jericho, I mean, he's the man. He's been there, done everything. But back in the day, no. So in my mind, those were the guys that were putting in that extra effort to entertain, to get the job done. They didn't have to go through there and just go through the motions. No, they were putting on one hell of a show for everybody to go on.
100% agree. And you mentioned Chris Jericho, who's someone that, like, when I bring up, you know, because usually like early favorites, things like it's something I like to ask everybody that I have on and stuff, because it gives me an idea of like who it's, you know, like your influences are and stuff. And it's just one of the things that Chris Jericho is usually one that I hear every time. And the one thing that really makes him so endearing to me is his constant ability, and I think you kind of alluded to it, to reinvent himself. I mean, he goes from being, you know, Lionheart Chris Jericho, you know, in the early days in ECW, and then when he shows up in WCW, he goes to the whole Man of 1,004 holds, you know, with the list and stuff, and then he goes to the WWE, becomes Y2J, and then, you know, goes away, comes back with like really short hair, and you know, he
reinvents the list. He reinvents the list.
The list. He also got the word "it" over. Like, it's just amazing. Right. Anything he can, and then look what he's doing in AEW now. I mean, he shows up, you know, people sing his song when he comes to the ring. People, you know, he literally has a new moniker. I mean, now he's the million viewer man. I mean, he was the demo god, and it's just his ability to reinvent himself. It's just, I think he's been able to do that better than just about anybody in the business.
Right. And if you kind of look at the bare bones of it, you mentioned it. He got the list over. He got a clipboard over. He got the word "it" over. If there's anything that brings it down to less is more in this business, Chris Jericho not only has been been personifying that, showing that to the people, he's making it as a dare, almost going, hey, I can make anything work. Right. So in a way, I've been kind of trying to do that myself. I mean, I am a proud and true, soldier at heart. I was coming on out, I had the whole military thing going on. I was coming out in a tactical vest. I had my beret on. Now, if you watch my entrance to the ring, I'm coming on out in a pair of trunks and a set of dog tags. I still got the face paint on, and that's what it is. I bring myself to the ring. Even further so now, like right down to even monikers. I'm even telling people, hey, I show up, I show out. That is what I'm bringing to the table right now, and that's still putting asses in seats. So I can definitely relate to what Chris Jericho's been doing, and I'm taking notes.
That's awesome. So how close is the Garrisaon Creed character to the man behind the character?
That's him. That's me. I mean, I initially didn't want, as I was explaining to you right before we started recording, I'm not the most exactly patriotic of folks. I mean, I'm not a red, white, and blue, waving guy that's all about the country. I mean, I'm proud of what I did. I'm proud of the country and all that sort of stuff. But I'm not going on out there and expecting to be in the front of the parade for it. I did what I did. I'm proud of what I did. I'm perfectly fine sitting at home, keeping that to myself. And that's, the kind of character that I want to portray. I'm not going to go out there and force feed my American patriotism down anybody's throat. But it is definitely an in-your-face type of person that I am. So when I come on out there, I have this particular skill set that I learned over a long time, over various different, experiences, whether they were mundane or extreme. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you what a soldier is fully capable of, especially when you put them in a combat type situation. I don't look at being in the ring and I'm going to go and do a wrestling match. I'm going in there and I'm going to show you how to fight. And fighting's not pretty. So when you're coming on up to, saying, hey, is there any difference between, who I was prior to, becoming a wrestler or joining, being what I am now? No, there isn't any difference. I mean, I may have tried, gimmick wise from the get-go, but then I found out, no, why am I going to do that? Why am I going to be fake? People don't want fake. They want real. And the best thing I can do is step into that ring and show them who I really am.
Awesome. So kind of going back a little bit to when you decided that wrestling's what you wanted to do, what was the reaction of like your family and friends when you told them that this is what I want to do?
You're going to fail. Why are you even going to bother? Why are you going to try that? Challenge accepted. That just gives me a little bit more fuel in the gas tank to make it work. A little bit more, lube up the elbow grease to, put that much more effort into it. Especially with, kind of a lot of my personal relations. They haven't been the most optimistic and positive influences on things. So, I mean, I've learned over time to kind of cut those strings. And I'm going to do what I'm going to do anyway. And tell you the truth, since I've gotten involved in professional wrestling in the wrestling community, it's the best thing I've done ever. It's put me in a better place mentally. It's helped me deal with a lot of the military issues that I've had to deal with. Come on, I don't know. It's like my therapy. It's giving me that next goal. I'm a very goal-oriented person. So now I take each show. Each time I step in the ring, I take that very personally. That's my next goal. I mean, I have different things I want to accomplish with each match. I have different goals in the gym to make sure that I'm in shape to be able to do what I need to do in the ring to do that. So a lot of people weren't optimistic. They were actually outright negative about me pursuing this as a dream, a goal, a career. And now those are the people that are asking me for, hey, where's your pro wrestling tee site? I want to buy a shirt. I win.
That's awesome. So did it give you kind of like that little sense of satisfaction then, like when all of, your non-believers, like you said, were all of a sudden
Now they're my best sellers.
Oh, that's awesome. So in one of the things too, I like to ask everybody, because again, they get, various opinions and stuff on this. One of the biggest criticisms of WWE, and I don't know if you follow the current product at all, but is there for the perception that they don't seem to be in the business to make new stars. And I want to get your opinion on how important do you think it is for every wrestling company, not just say WWE or CCW or Impact or AEW, but how important is the concept of creating new stars in your mind?
Never really directly thought of it. I more watch the product to see what's selling, to see what people are buying. And when it comes to the WWE product, it's really hard to follow. AEW, AEW, Impact, MLW, those are the stuff I've been trying to follow. I've been following, and they have a more tendency to stick to storylines and characters. Whereas WWE kind of seems like they've become the participation trophy of professional wrestling. Hey, now it's your turn to be at the front of the line. Nope, now it's your turn to be at the front of the line. And it keeps rotating. Yeah, sure, it does come back to certain individuals, but it's very, and in some ways, almost random. But at the same point, I don't think it should come down to the company trying to make the stars themselves. I think that should be a personal goal for the individuals, that they should be putting in the extra elbow grease, that extra tenacity to stand out and be that star and then get noticed, so the company then does push them. So you need a little bit of synergy between the place that you signed that contract for and the effort that you're putting into it. So on that point, maybe the WWE, and this is just hypothesizing, maybe the WWE doesn't have a lot of people that are, they're in there, they're just in the machine, and once they realize it, oh wait, now I could just go through the motions and collect that paycheck. Whereas other places that their contracts aren't so long, hey, you want that agreement, you got to be able to put out so much more effort. You need to be able to put those asses in the seats. And that's that's maybe where it is. We also have a very oversaturated market. We have a gazillion indie wrestlers, professional wrestlers out there now, fighting for spots. So if for some reason, just on a bad day, you wake up the boss wakes up on the wrong side of the bed and doesn't like somebody one day, oh hey, we're going to throw you to the back of the line. We're going to give the next guy a chance just because I didn't win. So, we have that competition for those spots that is very, it's very stringent right now. You can look at the issue at so many different ways. So at the end of the day, what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out, what puts my t-shirts on the backs of my fans, what keeps them in my inbox of my Facebook, my Instagram, my Twitter, what makes them want to buy a ticket to go see me at a live show. And as long as I keep going doing that and getting opportunities ahead of time, maybe then I'm going to focus more on what the WWE is selling, or what Impact is selling, or what MLW is selling, because that's the product that I want to be able to put on out, and the position I want to be in.
Cool. So okay, so you referenced a lot of the organizations, WWE,
a lot of them.
W.
I know I kind of word vomited on you there. Sorry.
Oh no! Please, by all means, this is a platform. This podcast is a platform that I try to make about you guys versus me. So you however you answer, I totally respect that. You mentioned WWE, AEW, and MLW. So who are some of your favorites that are currently on TV right now?
John Moxley's doing. He's reinvigorated himself, cutting ties with WWE and going to AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Watching guys like Lance Archer, kind of get the flames stoked underneath him right now. Watching Ben Carter debut on AEW Dark and then getting a chance to see him live at Warrior in Chicago was wow, where did this guy come from? Watching MLW, seeing guys like, I ran into Myron Reed years ago, and I didn't have too much of an opinion of him then, but now I see him and I go, wow, this guy's definitely put the work in. Shotzi Blackheart over at NXT, Karrion Kross.
Oh my
wow.
God, I love Kross.
He's a beast. Wow. Josh Alexander and Ethan Page. You can't have a better tag team right there. That can work. They're two big guys. They work on all levels.
Yes, huge fan of the North.
So and over at again, moving back over to MLW. You can't not include Alexander Hammerstone. I'm also curious about Logan Creed.
Gotcha. Very cool. Okay, so now we're gonna get a little bit more modern here. How did you get into contact with John Bullard and CCW?
I, being just outside the Chicagoland area myself, I started noticing on my social media feeds advertising the future stars for an up-and-coming company called Chicagoland Championship Wrestling. A couple of these guys, like Vic Capri and Matt DeWar, who I've been in the ring with, and went, well, I'm a hungry young talent, not a physically young, but young in the business. So why the hell not? I'm going to send a Hail Mary message here to John Bullard and, see what happens. Sent a message, sent a promo pic, and he was like, hey, I kind of like your look. Oh, can you send me over your resume? And at the time, I didn't have access to my computer. I was mid-moving from one place to another, and the only access I had my resume was my entire business resume. It's got my military career, my education, and then bullet points for my wrestling promoter. I cut out all that other stuff and I just send them the wrestling portion of it, but I didn't have the means to do that. So I'm like, screw it. He's getting the whole thing. So he got a nice 7-page resume. And about half an hour later, I get a text message back from him. My God, have you done a lot of stuff? Yeah. And from right there, we just had a conversation and told him the goals in the business, and he liked what I had and brought me on. And now, we're supposed to have had the show in May. Darn this pandemic just builds up a little ante, and it's we already had the flame stoked for that first show going on in May, and now we have that anticipation is just growing that much more. It's become so electric. The coffee maker's percolating. It's about ready to boil over. We have so much anticipation ready for this show. We're just ready to blow the roof off the damn place.
Yeah, definitely, and that's the vibe I've been getting, and all the posts I've been seeing John post out about the show, the wrestlers that I've interviewed, everybody seems ready and raring to go, and I think that's great. So now we're gonna get to the point where obviously you're on the card. You're actually wrestling in the main event against Shogun Chris Logan and Marche Rocket. So if you could say anything to those guys right now, what would it be?
Be ready. This match has the stipulation of it's going to crown the first Chicagoland Championship Wrestling champion. I'm taking that as a big deal. I've been in this business long enough to pour myself a cup of coffee. I haven't had a chance to take a sip in it yet. Now we got guys like Marche Rocket and Chris Logan who have been around for a while. They bring a lot of experience to the ring. I am hungry. I am talking with companies. I am going places. I am showing up at places and getting myself into the ring wherever, whenever. And when it comes to Chicagoland, I'm showing up October 3rd in Michigan City. ready to beat the best Marche Rocket and the best Shogun Chris Logan that they have to offer. I want their A games. I don't want they're on an off day. They're kind of not feeling well. We just kind of, we're going to go through the motions. No, I want the best. So that way, when I raise that championship belt over my head and go, I won, I knew that I deserved it. And then I'm going to take that belt all around, wherever Chicagoland's going to go. I'm going to proudly represent Chicagoland and defend that championship and do everything in my power to be a great symbol for them. But I'm also going to use that as a stepping stone to go and show every place else in the nation, in North America, and the rest of the world what I have to offer.
Awesome. So one of the last questions I have for you is, going back to your training in the military and stuff. What have you taken from all the different things you learned in the military, and the lessons, the tasks, whatever? What is some of the stuff that you've been able to take from the military and to apply it to your career as a pro wrestler?
Whatever the level of training that you're doing, whatever you're training for, the bottom line, it's gonna suck. Once you get it in your head, hey, embrace it. The more it sucks, the more you're getting out of it. So whatever you're doing, how can I make it worse? You add more weight. You do it on an empty stomach. Maybe you dehydrate yourself that morning to go and do it. Hey, maybe that 3 mile, 4 mile, 5 mile run you normally do on a treadmill. Oh, hey, do you know what? It's pissing rain on out. I'm going to go and do that 5 mile run out in the streets. Whatever you can do to kind of build that tenacity, that testicular fortitude that Mick Foley made so popular back in the day, whatever you can make that situation, that training harder on you, you will get more out of. And I've done that, and you can even see the progress from day one, Garrisaon Creed and crappy brown and orange trunks, to how I came on out ready to rip roaring, ready to go at Warrior Wrestling last weekend.
Awesome.
Just progress.
Awesome. Alrighty then. So before I let you go, how can people reach you on social media, and also how can they buy your merch?
All right. Very easy. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All you got to do is look up Garrisaon Creed, spelled GarrisaonCreed. I am on all three of those social media platforms. I also have a professional wrestling tees site, prowrestlingtees.com/Garrisaon Creed. I got multiple t-shirt designs on there. Or just get a hold of me on any of the messenger apps that are available on either Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. I will happily guide you to where you want to get to your Mercenary merch.
Awesome. Well, once again, October 3rd, 2020, at the American Legion in Michigan City, Indiana. Tickets are, I believe, still available for the show, the tapings.
Yes, I haven't. There has been a lot of sales. We are nearing capacity, but we haven't said that we're at full capacity yet. So there's still some available.
Awesome. General admission tickets are $10. You can get a family 4-pack for $30. Garrisaon, thank you so much for joining me this evening. Best of luck as you try to become the first ever CCW champion, and hopefully things will work out, and I'll be able to say hello to you in person next weekend.
All right, take it easy. Thank you very much for having me on, my man.
All right, thank you very much. And real quick before I go, I know I said it many times already, but thank you again for your service for our country. Me personally, I truly appreciate it.
Hey, it's not a problem, my man.
All right, have a good night. Thanks again to Garrisaon Creed for chatting with me. Just an all-around good guy. Really loved his stories, and I wish him nothing but the best of luck as he vies to become the first man to hold the CCW Championship. You can get your tickets for the tapings on October 3rd. They will be at the American Legion. I believe it's number 451 in Michigan City, Indiana. The information will be on the screen if you're watching this on YouTube. And the proper information will be on the podcast page, wherever you get your podcasts from, or for the episode listing for episode 8. Before I call it a night, I want to give a plug to my boy Charlie. I was actually just right before I recorded with Garrison. I made an appearance on his show, The 2 Count. He just put out his first episode in probably over almost a year. It should be available at by the time you hear this podcast episode. The 2 Count is also where you can find my shows on YouTube. So if you haven't had a chance to see me in live or on a video, go to check out Whaddya Say with DDJ on YouTube as part of the 2 Count Network, and check out some of the other great offerings that are available there, such as the 2 Count show, which I will be on. My buddy David Christensen, aka Professor Murders, unboxing videos of all the merch that he gets, and lots of new content are in the works. Once again, thanks for listening, and have a great week. And I will see you in about 7 days with another episode of Whaddya Say with DDJ.